We'll say we're live. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to a Shared Universe podcast studio. I am here with my neighbor Richard Fisher, who I met several weeks ago. I, for the most part, everyone in this building leaves at about 5:30. You know, we got a lot of lawyers, bankers in here. I think some of them don't even come in. But you were the one man I noticed that. Yeah, I saw your light on at 10:30, 11:30 at night.
That is
It's
true.
like, all right,
Yeah.
here's a guy who gets it. Here's a guy who realizes that while the rest of the world sleeps, if you're up hustling, that's how you get ahead. And so, yeah, I'm glad we ran into each other. We just by happenstance, and I think you were like, what do you do?" I'm like, "Well, what do you do?" And
Yeah.
we got a little lesson. Also, I remember one weekend I was walking by down the hallway by your office and saw about 100 million. Were they magazines or
Magazines.
they're sitting outside? And I'm like, oh boy, the landlord's gonna love this. But,
Yeah. We a little spring cleaning. We were reorganizing our archive, all our archival material. That was a object lesson in curation.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what we were doing. Yeah.
I try to curate. It doesn't really work out.
Yeah.
You know, as you can see in here, I curate collectibles in here per
I
se,
understand. I see that. That's
but
cool.
they're not. You know, they look organized, and I know where everything is. But yeah, for sure.
It's
So,
organized.
yeah.
The reason I am in the office late is we publish three different websites, inside GNSS, inside unmanned systems, and inside autonomous vehicles. And we started with Inside GNSS about 20 years ago. And we have become the journal of record in the world on all things satellite navigation. So the GPS that send you to the wrong place. Yeah, that's what we cover. So we do business in a lot of different time zones. About 50% of our customers and audience are in fact out of the U.S. So
Okay, and I
yeah,
saw
we're
you
doing
have
stuff.
you have a sign outside your door. It's like autonomous media. I'm like, well, what could that possibly be?
Yeah.
And so I guess maybe drones, maybe, but
Yeah,
you go way deep though.
So we
Drones,
go deep
farming
on
equipment.
we go deep
Trucking.
on satellite navigation, particularly GPS, and then the three other kind of satellite navigation constellations. So, but precision positioning is the output. That's what you get with GPS.
Yeah.
And it is the foundational technology on which all kind of unmanned and uncrewed and autonomous vehicles are built. So we covered drones, driverless cars, shuttles, even marine vehicles.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's cool stuff. Yeah,
and
it's really cool stuff.
yeah, I mean my own exposure. I try to keep up with technology and everything, but I know like Teslas have a self-driving component. Drones. I mean, where are we at right now in 2022? In terms of automating life?
Yeah.
And you know what? How did you get into this? First of all, because it's not every day you run into somebody who deals in autonomous systems and medium.
So we were. I worked for a very large B2B publishing company.
Okay.
And we became. And I was assigned a couple of magazines in the satellite navigation space.
Okay.
I've been doing that since 2000.
That's cool. Do you have an engineering background? Military?
English journalism.
Okay.
Yeah. But I kind of adopted the technology and we focus largely on the sensor integration. So it's the positioning. Whether it's GPS or Galileo or any of the other positioning GPS receivers. Plus, then you have other sensors like inertial measurement units, IMUs, like LiDAR, like radar, like cameras. And what's going on, Ming, is you're getting all this perception data is being extracted from the environment, and then it needs to be fused together and delivered in a way that you can have a safe a safe vehicle
Yeah.
operating on the highways.
Yeah.
And it's happening today as we speak.
Yeah, I see that technology has come a long way. My first exposure to GPS, anything GPS, was I bought a car in 2000, and it had the GPS navigation built in the
Right. Yeah.
dashboard.
Yeah.
And I remember everyone who came in the car with me was like, "Oh man, they're tracking you." I'm like, It's not how it works. You're tracking them.
Right. Exactly.
They're not necessarily tracking you."
Yeah,
But
yeah. And so it's two things are actually interrelated. One is you get a very faint signal that's being broadcast from a satellite.
yeah,
And the other, and that's one piece of it. But then you need a map, kind of a high density map set that's accurate enough.
right,
So when your vehicle ends up on the block next door,
yeah,
it's actually not the GPS, it's actually the map,
right,
which is bad.
yeah,
But
yeah. Don't blame the GPS.
yeah.
How many
Trust
GPS?
the robot.
How many GPS satellites are in orbit now in
28.
2022? 28. Okay.
28 right now. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So, with everything up there, yeah, it's fairly accurate at this point.
Yeah, and it's highly accurate. And there's a total of 4 constellations right now. There's the GLONASS, which is a Russian satellite constellation, Galileo, which is European,
All
and
right.
Beidou, which is Chinese.
Okay.
Yeah, and they interoperate.
Okay.
effectively.
It's the one thing where everyone's working together on, or
Yeah,
for the most part.
most part, yeah. Regardless of the geopolitical kind of constraints, the research and scientific communities have good working relationships.
That's cool. See
Most
what
of the
happens when we
time.
work together. Like good things can happen.
Good things can happen.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
don't have to launch.
Yeah.
We don't have to bomb the hell out of each other. We
Yeah.
can have cool automated systems
Yeah.
for sure. How long you been doing this?
22 years.
Okay, and I imagine it's grown since
Yeah.
1999.
So we started out with satellite navigation, and then 8 years ago we launched Inside Unmanned Systems, and it became pretty evident to me that there was this crowding out effect. In other words, much of the application articles and the sensor integration that we were covering had to do with drones and driverless cars.
Yeah.
And so it became pretty obvious that there was kind of a gap in the market, and there was a need for kind of filling that gap between what the manufacturers and the research and the scientists know. It's really fascinating times. I mean, just because we don't have a driverless car available out there, because Elon has gotten a little bit out ahead of his skis
Right.
on what can be available.
Yeah.
It's not to say that the technology exists right now where trucks are actually platooning and traveling U.S. highways. They're doing it in Arizona. Waymo's got a project in San Francisco with driverless robotaxis. We all saw in the news a couple of days ago where a cop pulled over a driverless car. I was a little confused by that.
Yeah.
Who do you give the ticket to? You know.
Um,
But it's on, and the bottom line is 37,000 people die every year on the nation's highways
Yes.
due to
human error.
distracted driving.
Yeah.
And so the belief is that with kind of more advanced driver assist, that it can end up saving a lot of lives.
Yeah. I mean, theoretically, it by principle, yeah, it should. By the numbers, it should work out
Yeah,
that
and
way.
it'll take some time. But the big challenge with regard to driverless cars, actually, I mean, the technology exists. There is a safe driverless car out there right now. The problem is that it's not done at scale because you need orders of magnitude of cost engineered out of it. You might be able to do it for $20,000. You've got a really safe system. For 2,000, less so.
Right.
Automotive scale, the OEMs and the tier ones wanted it at $200
Right.
or even less.
Right.
Can you
And,
deliver a
tall order.
safety critical solution at that price? The answer is no, not yet. But that's what the engineering teams are working on around the world.
Right, and I imagine the more it's implemented, the costs go down.
Yeah,
and they become safer.
That's true. And what's interesting too, Ming, is that there are a number of schools of thought. So, for example, Tesla doesn't believe in LiDAR, which is kind of the sensor of the moment, the LiDAR, light detection and ranging,
Yeah.
like radar,
Right.
is radio detection and ranging. Tesla doesn't do that. They use in fact, they've just recently taken out their radar completely. So what are they using? They're using cameras.
Okay, it's all visual.
It's all visual, and
Okay.
what they're taking that data and they're dumping it into a neural network.
Yeah.
And they're doing object detection and classification. And that's their methodology. Others are taking sensors like LiDAR, radar, inertial, and GPS, and fusing that together. And that's becoming the basis on which they're going to deliver a safe and reliable autonomous vehicle.
Yeah. Good luck, guys.
Big time. Big time. There's a lot of work to do, but it's it's happening. It's happening. Yeah.
I do you think all cars in the future will have some kind of automated component, an option, or will they be built in say 5-10 years?
Yeah, I mean, what we're seeing, we've got this kind of weird intersection now of what was traditionally the OEM automotive space. It was Daimlers and BMWs and Fords and Toyotas.
Sure.
That suddenly got disrupted by Apple, by Google, by the Teslas of the world. Tesla's plan, they with their OTAs, or over the air updates,
right?
They understand they're in the software business.
Right.
Some of the car manufacturers still think they're in the actual car business, but they're actually in the mobility business.
Right.
So the question is, when does all that happen? Is that going to happen for everybody everywhere? Who knows?
Okay.
But we think we have a role in kind of shaping the conversation and seeing and shaping the contours, both in terms of the direction and the pace of how that build out is going to happen. So it's exciting times.
That's cool. You might have to start another magazine.
Oh,
I mean,
maybe.
And so I about a week ago, I was on the GPS listed. I drove from Michigan back here to Jersey.
Okay.
GPS listed that it was going to take about 9.5 hours. Mm-hmm. I made a lot of stops because I wanted to be safe, and I just took a lot of breaks. Ended up being about 13, but would have been nice to kind of sit back for a portion of that on, say the Pennsylvania Turnpike, where it's just pretty much completely straight.
Yeah.
And chill out for a little bit.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie. So, and would that have made me a safer driver? Would that have gotten me back quicker, thus reducing my drive time? Absolutely would have. So,
it's all about safety, Ming. Safety first.
Yes, always. It's a age old adage that'll never get old.
That is true,
for sure.
That is true.
Yeah, that's great. So, and how long have you been in the building here?
7 years.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yep. 7 years in Red Bank.
Yes. Okay, I've been here about 3 months. I love it. I hope to be here 7 years with you. And
happy to have you.
Yeah,
you're a good neighbor. Although we got to talk about some of that noise late at night.
Oh, you're hearing noise?
Yeah, I didn't want to. I didn't know when to kind of broach it.
Sure,
but I thought this might be a good time.
Are we getting rowdy in there?
No. I'm kidding. I'm teasing you, man. It's good to hear.
Some of our podcasters
there is no noise coming out of here. It's all very. It's all really interesting observations by your other podcasters.
We've got some pretty interesting ones.
Yeah, you have good ones. Yeah. No, it's not. Sure. It's nice to have the creative energy.
Oh yeah,
close
it's fun.
To us. That's what we like.
It's fun.
As they say, Red Bank works.
Red Bank does work.
That's it, man.
I think it's my favorite part. I started here a number of years ago. Took off for a little bit.
Yeah.
Now I'm back.
Yeah.
And, it's funny. I've been going to some of the old places I've been going to, say, like the dry cleaning ladies, like, where the heck have you been? I'm like, well, I'm back. So am I still? Yeah. Am I still in the system? I'm still in the system.
You're still in.
She didn't delete me yet.
That's nice.
She's holding out. That would come.
They do a good job.
They do a great
cleaners.
Red Bank Cleaners.
Right next to the diner, Anna.
Yeah, the diner is really good too. I just gave him a shot on social media. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, we'll see.
That's good.
I don't know if that'll maybe it'll seat me quicker, but
no, it's cool. There's kind of a creative class here. In Red Bank.
Yeah, there really is. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Everybody knows everybody. In fact, I was getting some. I'm a poster freak. I got a lot of posters.
Yeah,
we do a graphic art. Being a publisher in print and digital, we do a lot of that. But we were getting that stuff framed at Mike
Oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
is
It's
that
a
the guy over the
frameworks.
Galleria?
Yeah,
Yeah, I know
yeah,
him.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
know him.
yeah. I mentioned your name. He's like, oh yeah,
Oh yeah, he's
yeah, yeah.
he's framed a bunch of stuff for Kevin, who frames everything. Kevin Smith,
Oh,
and he influenced me. He was like, "Hey man, you get it something cool, frame it, put it up
you
on the
know
wall."
what? I frame. I've got a framing addiction, man.
Yeah, as you can see, so do I.
I
So
know, I know. But it kind of memorializes it, and it's nice. And you
yeah,
hang it up, and there it is. It's a
classy.
snapshot. It's a moment in time. It's
It's
cool.
classy.
Yeah, yeah.
So I wanted to show you this. So since I am streaming on my YouTube page here, and this is a test for anybody watching. So people are commenting,
Are they
and
really?
here's guy.
Sorry.
No, not at all. So you can pull up the comments here on the screen. So
Ming
Bill
is the man.
Ming is man. Thanks Dustin Killington. What's going on, Ming? Cheers, guys. Garen Reynolds. Heyo. Uh, DCJRSRT10. Hello, friends. Arthur Fonzarelli, the Fonz. Ming is a podcasting legend. Well, still working toward that, but I think this has been a pretty good demo here, and
Yeah.
yeah, so we were just kind of messing around. That was 15 minutes right there already, 15, 16 minutes.
Good stuff.
So if you're still with us, if you're still watching, thank you very much. Check out Inside Unmanned, Inside GNSS. Check out Autonomous Medium, and my man Rich over here. We are taking over the world, my friends.
That's
So
it.
yeah,
That's it. Get
And-
inside the future.
inside the future, and
Right on.
look for us soon. We may be taking over the world or traveling it anyways. So
That's it.
yeah, for sure. So thanks for watching, everybody, and stay tuned.
Thanks, Ming.